Well, it's a warm welcome to this Premier League fixture between Chelsea and Southampton. Just awaiting for Martin Atkinson to blow his whistle to kick us off, which has now happened. So it's Southampton kicking off today at Stamford Bridge, playing from left to right in their usual home kit of the red and white stripes with white shorts. Chelsea in their all-blue home kit, playing from right to left. It's myself, William Maxwell, and Paul Szczerbakowicz taking you through this one. And on paper, it looks like it should be a comfortable Chelsea win.
It should be a comfortable Chelsea win on paper, but we have seen some signs of fight from Southampton already this season. They have had difficult start to the season with a couple of players leaving in the summer, but certainly Ralph Hasenhüttl's side will feel as though they can cause an upset today. They can make things difficult for Chelsea, who have just hit the buffers a little bit in the last few weeks. There was that win over Aston Villa on penalties in the League Cup. That was followed by a defeat at home to Manchester City, where Chelsea were criticised for their very defensive, negative style, and then that defeat away at Juventus. So we need to see a response from Chelsea today. So Southampton will fancy it, but on the other hand, perhaps it's not the best time to be playing Chelsea. That
is true. I mean, today's quite a big day for Chelsea. They've not lost 3 consecutive games in 90 minutes since September 2002. So will be quite a tall order for Southampton to add on to the misery of Chelsea, although they have proved to be quite stern opposition in the past, with Chelsea only beating the Saints once in their last 5 meetings, including 3 draws and 1 Southampton win, as well as we have Chelsea in possession with Mendy, who was pressurised by Adam Armstrong, going long, chested down by Hudson-Odoi, before Livramento's there to slide it away. Can't find Walcott though. Rudiger towards Chilwell now. High press this from Southampton, doing well to force Chelsea back. Romeo will mop up, and now's an opportunity here with Armstrong inside the area, held up well by Rudiger. We'll go back towards former Chelsea man Tino Livramento, signed on a permanent transfer in the summer. Another Chelsea loanee at Southampton, Armando Broja, is unable to play because of the loan agreement, as Walcott is felled on the right-hand side, and referee Martin Atkinson will give a free kick. Just a lazy leg by Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's been a bright start so far from the Saints.
It has. I think from Southampton's point of view, they don't want to sit back and allow Chelsea to get into a rhythm. It's important for Southampton to make things difficult, pick off any loose balls, try and get a set piece to put pressure here on Chelsea. That's absolutely the right way to go, and they've got a chance in now with this free kick from the right-hand side.
Yes, and it's going to be that man, James Ward-Prowse, that will take it from this right-hand wing. Goes short towards Walcott, who tries to hammer it back towards Livramento, who does just about keep it in play, but his cross is poor, sailing over Edouard Mendy's crossbar, and that is a real waste from a promising area.
It was a poor cross from Livramento, but I think that Walcott should shoulder some of the blame for this, because the first time pass to Livramento really put him under pressure, gave him very little space to work with.
Yes, it wasn't the greatest return ball by Theo Walcott after it looked like it was a training ground move, with James Ward-Prowse hammering it into the former Arsenal and Everton man. This ball is put long down the right-hand side towards Lukaku, well intercepted by Jan Bednarek. He'll go back towards Alex McCarthy. So just to run you through the lineups once again, if you did miss them, it was Mendy in goal for Chelsea, Rudiger, Silva and Azpilicueta in the back 3, with Chilwell and Hudson-Odoi as the wing-back positions. Kovacic, Chalobah and Loftus-Cheek in the middle, with Werner and Lukaku up top, as Mendy just about gets away from Nathan Redmond. Very composed under pressure there, but his long ball only goes as far as Jan Bednarek. So for Southampton, it's McCarthy in goal, a back 4 of Livramento, Bednarek, Salisu and Walker-Peters. Walcott, Romeo, Ward-Prowse and Teller in the midfield, with Redmond and Armstrong up top, as Ruben Loftus-Cheek is dispossessed by Livramento, and then Chilwell is fouled by the retreating Theo Walcott. Advantage being played by Martin Atkinson, as Kovacic does well to find Azpilicueta on the right-hand side, looking to throw the ball through towards Timo Werner. Big opportunity. Werner's effort is well saved by McCarthy. Clearest opportunity that's been created so far, and it came up from a bit of an overload on that right-hand side.
It was an overload on the right-hand side. Lukaku was possibly waiting for a pass here from Werner, but there was too many defenders in front of Lukaku. I think it would have been quite difficult for Werner to find a pass to get the ball to his teammate. Has been knocked out for a corner though, and Chelsea now with the chance from the set piece.
Yeah, they do have plenty of physical players, and players well known for their aerial ability to aim for, although the delivery isn't great. It beats Chalobah, but Redmond is there to knock the ball out for a throw-in for Southampton, midway inside their own half. We'll be keeping you up to date in all the other games in the Premier League today. The early kick-off finish, Manchester United 1, Everton 1. We've also got Burnley, Norwich, Leeds versus Watford, and Wolves versus Newcastle as the other games you can listen to on our service from the 3 o'clock kickoffs. The Brighton versus Arsenal game will also be available on our service at 5:30, as Teller is unable to keep the ball in play. Be a throw-in for Chelsea on the right-hand side. Azpilicueta aiming towards Loftus-Cheek, rather easily intercepted by Theo Walcott. Redmond to Ward-Prowse, now with Romeu. Pressurised by Timo Werner, will play Armstrong in, but Armstrong can't turn and come forward. Instead, we'll go back towards Kyle Walker-Peters, and Southampton will look to hold on to possession and try and work an attack. Although, as I say, that is a horrible ball by Jan Bednarek, straight over the top of Theo Walcott, out of play for a throw-in. And if they are going to cause Chelsea issues, they need to focus on keeping hold of the ball better, Southampton.
Can't give it away like that, because Chelsea are going to get the ball off Southampton at some point anyway. So if they're just going to make it a gift like that, Chelsea will certainly take advantage, as the Blues now clearing their lines. But you can see Thomas Tuchel already getting a bit frustrated there. He'll know that there's pressure when you're at a club like Chelsea. There's pressure if you draw and you don't play as well as you should do. So 2 defeats and potentially 3 defeats in a row. He knows that there'll be a lot of talk, particularly with the international break, a lot of time to stew over that, as Werner is robbed of it by Teller.
Yes, it wasn't a great ball by Thiago Silva. There's an opportunity here, though, for Nathan Teller. Really should have released the ball, shaped up to go for goal from around 25-30 yards out. Saw his name up in lights, but it was dispossessed by a mixture of Timo Werner and Thiago Silva. And now maybe there's an opportunity here for Chelsea to break forward with Ben Chilwell finding Callum Hudson-Odoi. One of 5 changes to the Chelsea starting lineup alongside Chilwell. Tries to find the former Leicester City fullback, but the pass is misplaced and drifts out of play for a goal kick. Not the greatest play there by Callum Hudson-Odoi. But going back to that early opportunity for Nathan Teller, did so well to break forward and away from the Chelsea defence. I think he maybe just got caught in 2 minds, because he had so many options to choose from a Southampton point of view. Then thought, OK, I've got the spaces opening up in front of me, he might go for goal. And in the end, Werner tackles back on him.
Yeah, he should have just got rid of that ball a little bit quicker there. I thought Armstrong was waiting in a good position just at the edge of the area. But little warning signs there for Chelsea that if they do sit back too deep, there will be opportunities for Southampton to try and make them pay.
As Chilwell puts the ball down the line, it's a poor ball, intercepted by Livramento. Hudson-Odoi is there to tackle back. He's appealing for a free kick, nothing given. Rudiger can't keep the ball in play, although it has gone out for a throw-in for Chelsea, which I'm not entirely sure is the correct decision, but I'm sure the linesman and referees in a better position than I am to say whether or not, as Chalobah does well to get away from Nathan Teller and Romeu, who pressed high up the field. Very composed play there by Trevor Chalobah. What is looking more and more like his breakthrough Chelsea season. Werner to Lukaku. Away from Bednarek. Azpilicueta gets a cross in. Blocked by Nathan Teller. Appealing for a handball is Cesar Azpilicueta. Nothing given, though, by the referee. It will go out of play for a corner kick. To me, it looked like Walker-Peters' arms were by his chest.
Well, let's have a look from this replay. I mean, his arm's out a little bit. I mean, it's never inside the box anyway, so there's never going to be a penalty. But arguments for a free kick there, I suppose it could be one of those where you could say that there could have been. But this is a good opportunity now for Chelsea with this set piece.
Yes, it is. It's going to be Ben Chilwell that will take this corner kick for the Blues. It's into the centre park, it's Loftus-Cheek, it's Chalobah at the back post, and he nods home to get his 2nd Chelsea goal of the season. It was a wonderful little flick on by Loftus-Cheek, a glancing header. Questions have to be asked, though, of the Southampton defence of why Chalobah was gifted so much space at the back post, and all he has to do is just guide his header into the bottom corner.
Far too easy this for Chelsea. The ball is whipped in from the right-hand side, nodded on there by Loftus-Cheek, and Chalobah diving from a couple of yards. The Southampton players have their hands up to say there could be an offside. Well, we'll have to see the replay, actually, because there is nobody standing on the post. Southampton have quite purposely moved everybody forward here. So when this ball is nudged by Loftus-Cheek, you could say there might be an offside. We haven't seen a sort of a replay of the action down the line, just to be sure. But it doesn't look as though VAR is checking anything. So it's whatever we thought about a potential offside, it looks like the goal is going to stand.
Yes, doesn't look like there's being any checks, and we have now kicked off after that goal, so it is going to stand. Chelsea 1, Southampton 0. The opening goal, not only of this game, but of all the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League as well. And after such a wonderful start from Southampton, they're going to be kicking themselves that they're behind in such a cheap manner.
Well, that's the first time pass from Walcott to Livramento could have been better, and the run from Teller should have been finished off with an earlier strike or a pass. Those aren't really big deals when you look at it in the scheme of things, but in this game they matter a lot now, because all of a sudden Chelsea are in front and Southampton are under a lot more pressure.
Yes, as Redmond does well to find Teller, who just tries to get his boot in front of Thiago Silva, does so, but he can't direct the ball towards a Southampton teammate, and it falls kindly to Edouard Mendy, as Thiago Silva's just having a brief stop to check his face. I think he may have been caught in with the studs of Nathan Teller, I'd imagine. He looks to be okay to continue. He's still holding the side of his cheek, so it must be a sore one. Well, whatever it is, he's not one to go down cheaply, Thiago Silva. Wonderful veteran of the game, as Mendy focuses and spreads it towards Chilwell, who will get away from Theo Walcott. Back now towards Rudiger. High press by Adam Armstrong this time. Mendy look to go long again, aiming for Hudson-Odoi, who beats Livramento in the air, and Lukaku will hold off Bednarek and try and break forward. Finds Timo Werner. Kovacic hammers a wonderful ball out towards Azpilicueta, who plays an early ball towards Lukaku, who got a toe to it. You've got to say, good defending by Jan Bednarek to make it awkward for Romelu Lukaku there, who couldn't quite get it on goal. I think it does come off the Polish defender last for a corner kick, but yet again, wonderful build-up play by Chelsea.
It is good build-up play here from Chelsea. It's good last-ditch defending. It needed to be, really. That's the worry for Southampton, that Chelsea are just quite happy to sit back, but then they do find that one killer pass, and Chelsea scored from their last corner. Some more pressure here on Southampton.
Yes, another corner kick, and it's going to be Chilwell once again that will take. Similar ball to where they scored from, and it's headed away this time by Bednarek, and Armstrong will try and utilise his pace to get away from Hudson-Odoi, but he's no slouch either. He slides in and gets a block to the ball, and will divert the ball out of play for a throw-in for Southampton, in line with their near right-hand side corner flag. Played around 11.5 minutes of this game so far. Listening to unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 1, Southampton 0, the latest score. As the ball goes down the line towards Walcott, it's headed off of his chest by Rudiger. Goes out to play for a throw-in. Not sure. I'm assuming it's going to go Chelsea's way. Did seem clear enough. As we see stats on our screen, there's been 3 attempts of Chelsea so far, 2 of which been on target, and 1, of course, ending up in the back of the net.
No efforts at all from Southampton, and that's the problem for Ralph Hasenhüttl's side. That the first few minutes of this game, they did come out with some intent, had nothing to show for it really, and now Walker-Peters commits himself trying to win the ball back. It's played down quickly for Timo Werner, but you could just see that there's no cohesion in that midfield for Southampton right now, because they've just not got enough time on the ball to try and build anything.
No, Salisu looks high up the field towards Nathan Redmond. Headed away, though, by Thiago Silva. You can actually see a slight cut underneath his cheek from where he's been caught by Nathan Teller.
You often see players caught in the face almost pressing their lip to hope there's going to be a blood injury, whereas here Thiago Silva doesn't need to do that. He has been caught, but say he seemed like he was okay with that. Martin Atkinson checked with him at the time. Throw on to Southampton, and 2 passes later, Chelsea are back in possession. This is just not happening for Southampton right now. They've got to try and do something to wake up that midfield. They
really do. They're not getting the rub of the green at the moment, as Edouard Mendy lifts it over the top. It's intercepted by Livramento, now with Ward-Prowse to find Armstrong. He'll turn away from Thiago Silva. Armstrong now pokes it towards Walcott on the edge of the area, looks for support. His cross is blocked by a mixture of Antonio Rudiger and Ben Chilwell to divert the ball and to play for a corner kick. They need to make use of whatever set pieces they get at the moment, Southampton.
But again, that was better in midfield from Southampton. This time they've just had a little bit more fluidity about the way they approached that move. The ball to Walcott was good. He crossed the ball in early. Got to credit the defenders there for closing him down quickly. But now, as you mentioned, this is a rare opportunity for Southampton to get players in the box in this game, and they have to take it.
Yes, they really do. They've got some attacking prowess in the air with the likes of Romeu, Bednarek and Salisu. They're quite evenly matched in respect of tall players, although they are missing Yannick Vestergaard, who they sold to Leicester City in the summer, as the ball is headed away by Loftus-Cheek. Falls to Theo Walcott, and well, he's not known for his goal scoring from outside the box, and especially not from the volleys, Theo Walcott, and there I think he just saw his name up in lights and I think he's hit that into row Z.
That should have been option 5 or 6 for Walcott. There should have been a few other options that he thought of first, like trying to take a touch, maybe fire the ball back down the right-hand channel for Ward-Prowse for a second chance to cross it from that right-hand side, or to try and dink a ball into the box. But volleying it off balance from the edge of the area really should have been Walcott's last option. And in the meantime, Chelsea have played out from the back, but they've managed to lose the ball. Southampton in possession now. And again, Chelsea doing their homework as well. They're pressing high up the field. They'll make it easy for Alex McCarthy to just play out from the back.
Yes, here is Nathan Redmond now for Southampton. Away from Azpilicueta, finding Nathan Teller, who will turn away from Loftus-Cheek. Back now towards Mohamed Salisu. He's got a little bit of time to work with the Ghanaian. Before lifting over the top, intending for Armstrong. Headed away once again, this time by Thiago Silva. Then Loftus-Cheek is tackled by Nathan Redmond, who I initially thought was a fair tackle. Martin Atkinson has thought otherwise. It will be a free kick for Chelsea, midway inside their own half. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that. And look, for all the word that Redmond just poked the ball away from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It will be a free kick for Chelsea all the same. And Thiago Silva is a man who will come over to take this, and he'll take his time in doing so. Obviously in no rush, considering it is still the early exchanges, only 50 minutes gone, and they are a goal to the good as Rudiger plays the ball down the line, intending for Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's another sloppy pass from Chelsea, going out for a throw-in. As we see pictures of Trevor Chalobah, who of course got the goal for Chelsea. As we see more and more replays, the more we look at it, the less it looks like there's any real offside worries from Chelsea's point of view. Chalobah just wonderfully positioned, but the more you watch that replay, the more you just question, what is Southampton's shape there?
Well, it's. I'm not even sure if Southampton are the only side guilty of this now. It's just this idea that everything's done zonally. So often we see players stepping away or not even starting on the post, which to me is a basic thing. You avoid so many goals being scored against you if you do leave somebody on the post like that. I would argue the statistic that you avoid more goals than you do by playing an offside from a corner and getting everyone away from the post. So it was risky from Southampton, and it didn't pay off. It was far too easy for Loftus-Cheek to get the first header, and Chalobah dived at the far post with nobody anywhere near him. The response from Southampton since then has been good. They're trying to get on the ball. It's not like they've given up, but they're just not enough about them really to put pressure on Chelsea. And so you just feel as though Thomas Tuchel's side will be hunting for that second goal as soon as they get the chance. But so far, a bit of a stalemate in midfield in the last few minutes.
Yes, it is, as Rudiger goes back now towards his goalkeeper Mendy, who lifts it over the top, intending for Azpilicueta. It's a heavy collision between Azpilicueta and Walker-Peters. Advantage being played by Martin Atkinson as Timo Werner is tackled by Salisu. Advantage had already gone by that point as Romeo then leaves Ward-Prowse short, who is quite fortunate to come away with the ball and not with a free kick. It looked like he came in late on Hudson-Odoi there. Hudson-Odoi appealing to Martin Atkinson. There should have been a free kick. Nothing's been awarded as Livramento now breaks away for Southampton. Gives possession back to Chelsea via Ben Chilwell. Then Rudiger will just play the ball out of play for a throw-in for the Saints midway inside the Chelsea half. Ward-Prowse will leave for Livramento to take on this near right-hand side. Livramento finding Walcott. Walcott can't do anything with it. In fact, it's going to be brought back for a foul throw, I believe, which is it's quite abysmal, really, for foul throws to be awarded at this level. As Mendy, awful play by Mendy. Ward-Prowse does well to get the header, but then he can't direct the ball to any man in red. And now there's a counter-attack opportunity here for Chelsea. Azpilicueta finding the pace of Werner away from Walker-Peters. Lukaku's in support in the area, as is Callum Hudson-Odoi. Werner gets across in, blocked by Walker-Peters, out for another corner kick. But with 70 minutes gone, you can't really say that the play from either side has been with a great deal of quality. It's been very scrappy at times.
It has been scrappy, and Chelsea doing their best to get through down the right-hand side this time. It's already the fifth corner kick of the game, and Chelsea have had 4 of them. But Southampton just a little bit too open there on their left-hand side as that move was starting. It's going to be an in-swinging corner now from Ben Chilwell.
Yes, Ben Chilwell looking to get this ball into the air. It's another dangerous cross in, and it's Rudiger that won the header. Couldn't direct it on target, though. It sails over the crossbar, out for a goal kick. I think he just timed his header slightly too early, which meant he got all of his head underneath the ball and sent it quite some distance wide in the end. But they're still the side dominant at the moment in this one, really limiting Southampton to no real attempts at goal as we await this corner kick to be taken by Alex McCarthy. Looks like he'll shape up to put this towards the right-hand wing, intending for a mixture of Redmond and Livramento, headed away by Rudiger. Lukaku now with Salisu, done by Loftus-Cheek, who then gets away from Nathan Teller, comes flying in on the tackle. I think it's going to get brought back for a free kick. Martin Atkinson is just having a few words with, I'm not entirely sure who it's with. Never looked at Loftus-Cheek, who made that tackle on Teller. I think it must have been for an earlier infringement, maybe by a Southampton player, but we have a couple of goals to tell you about in the Premier League by looks of things. Leeds taking the lead against Watford via Diego Llorente, and Wolverhampton Wanderers have taken the lead against Newcastle by a goal to nil, still awaiting on confirmation of the goal scorer there as Chalobah picks up possession, aiming towards Chilwell. Again, it's intercepted by Livramento, then Armstrong let that go for Ward-Prowse. This is a big opportunity now for Southampton. Ward-Prowse just forcing Walcott wider than he would have liked, again forced backwards by the retreating defence. Ward-Prowse finds Walcott, who gets away from Chilwell, now with Romeu. Armstrong with a little bit of space will aim to go for goal, deflected by Chalobah. It's a comfortable enough save by Edouard Mendy, but they had men over there, Southampton, but you've got to say Chelsea got back very, very quickly.
They did. The move from Southampton wasn't particularly quick either, so all those Chelsea players coming back, it helps the home side even more just to try and kill the pace of that particular attack. And now Chelsea insisting to play out from the back, and they do get the ball up towards the halfway line for Bednarik clears it back towards the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, but it's a long ball to Armstrong, hopeful rather than direct, and Chelsea back in possession.
Yes, they are, and it's with Werner on the right-hand side. His pass can't quite find Azpilicueta. Can confirm the goal scorer for Wolverhampton Wanderers was Hwang Hee-chan to get his second goal of the season and put more misery on Steve Bruce's Newcastle as Nathan Teller gets into the area, finding Theo Walcott. Will let that go for Ward-Prowse. Hits it well. It's not too far away at all by the Southampton captain. Caught it on the half volley. Managed to keep it down low, had Mendy sprawling to his right-hand side, goes just wide of the right-hand post. We're just seeing a replay here if Mendy is going to save it. To us, if it's on target, I don't think Mendy's saving that.
Well, Mendy's almost sort of not even fully stretched his arms, as if to say he could see it's going wide, but as you say, the pace of that shot seemed to be going past him anyway. If it had been on target, he may well not have got down in time. It's a very good effort that from Ward-Prowse, and a warning to Chelsea that a 1-0 lead is never going to be enough. No,
it is a very dangerous scoreline to be on. Always gives your opponents that chance to get back into the game as Kovacic finds Callum Hudson-Odoi away from Livramento. Back now with Mateo Kovacic. Spread toward Loftus-Cheek. Now with Werner, who does well just about to hold on to it. Into the area, gets a shot away. Easily blocked by Salisu. Loftus-Cheek on the volley. That one was travelling at a rate of knots, but yet again going wide of the goalkeeper's post. I think that one was slightly further wide than James Ward-Prowse's. It was almost a case of anything you could do, I could do better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already seen Loftus-Cheek with an assist with his head for the Chalobah goal. Trying to get a goal himself this time. Really put his right foot through that one, just angling wide away from McCarthy's goal.
Yes, as Redmond finds Oriol Romeu, lifts it over the top, intending for Livramento. As Theo Walcott has then been fouled by Ben Chilwell. That'll be a free kick for Southampton. No yellow cards being shown there by Martin Atkinson. Chance for Southampton to hold on to possession maybe and just bring this ball forward as Livramento stands over it. I think he'll have to go short here. In fact, he's just going to let that go for Jan Bednarek to take instead, and he might himself decide to send this ball long. As we have this stoppage in play, we are at the halfway point of this first half. It's Chelsea 1, Southampton 0. It'll be Paul Szczerbakowicz taking you through to half-time.
Thank you very much. Well, yes, it's Chelsea leading by a goal to nil. Long ball now towards Adam Armstrong is cleared, and James Ward-Prowse clatters into Ben Chilwell there. Chilwell just needs a moment to pick himself up. It's an easy decision there for the referee. Ward-Prowse just arriving a little bit late, and Chilwell now picking himself up. It's a little bit of a boot to boot there as well. But it looks like Chilwell is going to be okay. Ward-Prowse, of course, longest serving Southampton player, has been here a very, very long time, and really has seen the club go through its ups and downs in terms of getting out of the Premier League, coming back in. It seemed as though Ralph Hasenhüttl was going to introduce a new style and a new way forward here for Southampton, but as Will mentioned, a couple of players sold in the summer, not really replaced by the same quality. It looks as though Hasenhüttl is having to work on a much tighter budget now.
Yes, I can only imagine so. I mean, Danny Ings and Yannick Vestergaard are two very big players for them.
Bertrand as well.
And, of course, Ryan Bertrand as well, who is a real stalwart of the club and wonders in the full-back position. And maybe they've replaced him with a bit of youth and maybe preparing for the future, but in the short term it doesn't really offer that same quality that they're going to really want, which is why many people are beginning to tip Southampton as possible relegation candidates, because they've lost so much talent in key areas of the field, and the replacements at the moment aren't really showing themselves to be up to Premier League quality.
Well, winless so far, Southampton in the Premier League this year. Plenty of draws, but they've not had a win yet in the league. They did beat Sheffield United on penalties around 10 days ago in the Carabao Cup, and they're at home to Leeds once we return after the international break in 2 weeks. Chelsea are away down the road at Brentford in their next game in 2 weeks' time, so that will be the early evening kickoff on Saturday the 16th of October. Round of international games to play before then, of course. Southampton in possession down the left-hand side. 25 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea leading Southampton by a goal to nil. The goal scored by Trevor Chalobah. And now it's a throw to Southampton down the left. Walker-Peters gets it back from Redmond. He's under pressure there from Loftus-Cheek. Plays it back to Mohamed Salisu. Salisu now to Romeu, former Chelsea man, who looks a little bit off the pace when he was at Chelsea. Went away from England for a couple of years and came back as a much better player at Southampton. But here come Chelsea now with Hudson-Odoi. Gets the ball to Chilwell, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Then a quick 1-2 with Kovacic. Oh, lovely move. And Chilwell striking at the near post. Really good save that from Alex McCarthy. Lovely bit of link-up play there between Kovacic and Chilwell. The ball now back in midfield. Chelsea looking to try and play the ball long into the penalty area. In fact, no, they've decided to keep it on the halfway line. But Will, very close to 2-0 there.
Very close, and it really should have been 2-0 just to finish off, like what you mentioned, a wonderful move between Ben Chilwell and Mateo Kovacic. Great 1-2 between the two. Then Chilwell, I think, is just slightly stumbling when he initially gets the shot away, which means he can't go across the keeper, which I think would have been the better option. Instead, tries to get enough power at the near post to beat McCarthy, but McCarthy does well to react quickly and get a big right boot to it to divert the ball away from danger. But fantastic football from Chelsea.
Well, it's good work there from Chalobah to initially hold up the run of Teller, but Walker-Peters joins in. He gets the ball to Redmond, who's falling over right on the byline, tries to cut that ball back to Armstrong. It's cleared out for a throw. But green shoots of recovery here from Southampton. They didn't respond too well after conceding. Just went into their shell a little bit. But the last few minutes, we're just seeing a little bit more from the visitors. But still not enough inside the penalty area. Salisu over towards Walker-Peters. Now Romeu back to Ward-Prowse. This is all around about the halfway line for Southampton here. Tino Livramento now inside towards Theo Walcott. Back towards Bednarek and Ward-Prowse now on the halfway line. It's over with Walker-Peters now on the left-hand side. Redmond's dropped a bit deeper, but he's got a bit of space now. Kovacic in front of him, runs straight into the Croatian international, but he still keeps the ball here. Redmond gets into Walker-Peters. He tries to play a ball back down the channel here for Nathan Redmond. Chalobah gets in the way and puts it out for a throw. Good little sustained spell of pressure this from Southampton. Still need to test the goalkeeper somehow, though. Throw one down the left-hand side with Kyle Walker-Peters waiting to take it. Not any options so far for the short throw. Redmond and Teller have now made themselves available. The ball goes to Teller, goes back towards Walker-Peters, and now it's with James Ward-Prowse. He finds Adam Armstrong. Armstrong turns and gets that ball back towards Walker-Peters. Into the box he goes, but once again, Chelsea just have that penalty area flooded. No way in here for Southampton.
No, they're really struggling to break down this Chelsea defence, who have been really organised throughout the entirety of this opening half hour. You've got to give them credit for that. Although Redmond's breaking on this left-hand side and maybe an opportunity. Yeah, an overlap here from Walker-Peters. He lifts a left-footed cross, which is headed away by Chalobah. The loose ball drops at the edge of the area. Hudson-Odoi heads it forward now. Redmond tried to stop it, but he couldn't stop the ball going out towards the right-hand side. And there's plenty of space here for Timo Werner, who gets to the edge of the area, being stood up here by Mohamed Salisu, who slides in. The ball deflects off the Southampton centre-back and out for a Chelsea corner. Yes, I think Werner could have done a little bit better there, though. Great play by Hudson-Odoi to hold on to the ball, and he has really no right to poke it out towards Timo Werner. Then he utilises his base to break down that right-hand side. Maybe an early cross to Romelu Lukaku could have been the better option. Instead, tries to get towards the byline and maybe just cut it back. But Salisu does well to stick with the German and make a block to divert the ball outplay for a corner. But of course, Chelsea got their goal from a corner kick, so it's still not exactly danger over for Southampton. Absolutely not. It's a short corner this time, though. Werner rolling the ball back towards Kovacic, and then Chilwell, who's still on that right-hand side. He gets the ball short, tries to fire it at the near post. It was the right idea. He's got a great left foot bench, but it was far too tame an effort. An easy save there for the goalkeeper, Alex McCarthy.
Chilwell sets himself. He thought he might surprise McCarthy at the near post, but the ball now back in play, and Chelsea back in possession. Southampton didn't enjoy the ball for too long. It's now back with Antonio Rudiger, who plays it square to Kovacic. Now back to Chalobah, and so this is a bit more controlled from Chelsea now, but could have expected this as well, because Southampton are trying to respond with some sort of attacking possession. Chelsea are slowing things down even more.
Yes, they really are. They're showing their quality, Chelsea, and why they're tipped to be one of the Premier League favourites this year in, as they're really doing well to control Southampton, making them play where they want to play and limiting them to half chances at best. I mean, Southampton started this game so well, but you can just tell that early goal for Chelsea really has just kicked them in the teeth and dented their confidence in possibly getting something out of this game, and it's meant that more and more passes are going astray. I mean, Ralph Hasenhüttl really needs this half-time whistle to come as soon as possible so he can just regroup his players.
Absolutely. He's just turning to his bench there as well, just having a quick discussion with a couple of his assistants. He seems very frustrated about something there. It may just be that his side perhaps just sitting a little bit too deep, but it's a very difficult thing to manage when you're a goal down away at Stamford Bridge. You can't go hell for leather to try and get an equaliser straight away, but you can't sit back too deep either. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation here, really. That's why it's so important for the unfancy side, the outsiders, to not concede early against the big teams, because it really does throw everything out of sync. But Chelsea now going forward here with Hudson-Odoi cutting in from the left. They're switching the play to the right-hand side now for Timo Werner. Werner's crossed into the area, just stabbed to the edge of the box by Oriol Romeu, and then Mateo Kovacic with a strong challenge, bringing down, I think that was Nathan Redmond that hit the deck. He's going to need a moment or two just to pick himself up now, but it's going to be a free kick to Southampton at the edge of their own penalty area. It was Redmond, and got Martin Atkinson's close. That's bordering on a yellow, possibly.
I mean, I would have thought so, yeah. It was a very hard tackle, and again, catches Redmond quite awkwardly. But Martin Atkinson is seemingly just having a game where he really wants to not show any cards wherever possible. He's being incredibly, almost overly lenient in this opening half hour. Yes, you can't really say it's been a dirty game so far. It's only been like a handful of challenges that maybe could have warranted, at the very least, a stern talking to. But that tackle there is definitely one of those where you've seen yellow cards given almost instantaneously for them.
Absolutely, and we know that referees have been more lenient since the start of this season, since the Euro Championships really started, with the UEFA referees letting a lot of sort of pushes and shoves go, and it seems as though domestic referees have carried that on this season, which is, I'm all in favour of that, but it has to be within reason. There have been a few, I think, which have been a little bit too lenient. But here come Chelsea now. Plenty of space here for Loftus-Cheek, and it was asking for the pass to Timo Werner. Pass is easily blocked, though, and now a chance for Southampton to go on the counter. Nathan Teller leaves the ball here for Kyle Walker-Peters down the left-hand side as the Saints look. Walker-Peters stopped in his tracks there by Trevor Chalobah. The ball is now out for a throw to Southampton. Chance to get players forward, or at least get the ball away from their own half momentarily. Thomas Tuchel will certainly be hoping that his side can get a second goal as quickly as possible, just to put any nerves to bed, to reduce the chances of any comeback for Southampton in this match. 1-1 to Southampton now with Kyle Walker-Peters to Nathan Redmond, back to Walker-Peters, two Chelsea players trying to stop it. Walker-Peters still gets a cross in, and it's a diving header from Theo Walker. What a collector's item that would have been. Walker certainly not famous for his headed goals, and that one flashes past the goal, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately for Southampton it does, but it's wonderful play by Walker-Peters on that left-hand side. Great quick feet to get away from Chalobah, and it's almost an inch-perfect cross, and Walcott throws his body at it, but he throws his body at it slightly too low where the ball actually is, and he gets a glance off the top of his head. And looking at the replay, it actually isn't anywhere near going in. It's close to the corner flag, but from the pictures that we got, it looked for all the world is going to end up in that top corner. Southampton and Theo Walcott really should have and could have done better there, as there's a yellow card now finally shown by Martin Atkinson to Oriol Romeu for a late tackle on Hudson-Odoi. But Southampton still showing that there is life in them yet.
Absolutely. I mean, this challenge from Romeu is always going to be a booking. He sticks a leg out with no chance of getting anywhere near the ball. He knows what he's doing, and although you can see the Southampton fans behind that goal protesting when they saw that Romeu got a yellow card, it's no basis. He knew what he was doing. And the free kick's been taken short and been taken quick, and it's now with Callum Hudson-Odoi at the edge of the area. He looked to play it square, it's picked off, and now a chance here for Nathan Teller to start a move for Southampton down the left-hand side. Teller being tracked there by Azpilicueta, brought down, and it is going to be a free kick. The referee just explained that he had to wait for a bit of an advantage, and now it is a free kick to Southampton.
Yes, it is a free kick. Azpilicueta, I think, always knew what he was doing there, just to stop the counter-attacking move. It's just a slight pull on Nathan Teller, but with the conditions, from what you can see in Stamford Bridge, it is almost torrential rain in London. You just need a slight pull in order for any player to lose their footing, which means I think those sort of fouls are going to be given more and more frequently. But Southampton getting more of the possession in we're now entering the final 10 minutes of this half, but then Romeo, awful pass, giving possession straight back to Chelsea.
That is just a gift for Chelsea, and Romeo, he can put his hand up to apologise now, but he's got to make sure that he avoids situations like that, because he was a long way away from its intended target. He just didn't pay attention to where his teammates were around him. Throw on now to Chelsea. The right-hand side. To take this is Azpilicueta, gets it back from Kovacic. Kovacic under pressure, then goes inside towards Chilwell. He then feeds Rudiger, who steps forward this time. Rudiger gets away from Ward-Prowse. He gets to the edge of the area. Still Antonio Rudiger. Then he finds Lukaku. Turns and fires into the back of the net. It's all a little bit too easy, really, when you see how it's done. The flag's gone up. Must admit, I didn't think there was an offside there. Wait to see if a VAR confirms this, Will.
Yeah, it was a great marauding run forward there by Antonio Rudiger, bringing the ball forward. Really wasn't put under a great deal of pressure by any Southampton player.
Ooh, I tell you what.
It is just offside for Romelu Lukaku, who it's a real sort of stereotypical Lukaku finish, just placing it into the corners. No chance from McCarthy. Southampton very fortunate there, because yet again you've got to ask questions about the defending.
Yeah, the defending. Well, I suppose the offside trap works, but
yes,
the actual marking and stopping the run from Rudiger certainly didn't work. And it's only a foot in that one, even in this day and age of the VAR not being as strict as in previous years. I think that still would have been given as an offside by most VAR officials. Free kick now to Chelsea after a long ball went down the middle when Adam Armstrong was jostling for position with Thiago Silva. Silva has stayed on the ground here. So this isn't anything too serious that's happened to him. He can certainly do with him staying on the field. We'll see. He's just sort of glanced with the elbow there, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he's glanced with the elbow, and then he may just be down for the awkward landing of Adam Armstrong just falling onto Thiago Silva with real pain. I think it was his legs, I think, took the majority, but looks like he's back onto his feet, Thiago Silva, and he will likely be able to continue as he just reties his boots. I mean, there's going to be a lot of slipping and sliding over the course of this pitch, as I've mentioned. It's awful weather in London at the moment, but thankfully for Chelsea's point of view, Thiago Silva is still okay.
Yep, he looks fine. Chelsea have taken the free kick short. So with Rudiger now on the left-hand side. It's it inside to Kovacic. It's been stopped there by Adam Armstrong when the ball goes out off Armstrong last. It's going to be another throw to Chelsea down the left-hand side. They're quite certainly no rush to restart play here. But from Southampton's point of view, they've just not seen enough of the ball, full stop. And when they have seen the ball, they're not doing enough with it. So it's two problems that are really contributing to their situation right now.
Yeah, whenever they are finding the ball, it's the vast majority of it is either in the defensive third or the midfield. They're not really getting Armstrong into the game enough for me, which is why they're really struggling to really make any form of indent on this Chelsea defence, as then as an effort that is blocked by Salisu and then Southampton clear the ball away. It's going to be something that needs to be looked at by Hasenhüttl at the half-time. And you may have to say that it probably won't be too long until he brings on someone like Che Adams, for example, just to get that more attacking impetus.
The bench for Southampton is Perraud, Diallo, Gineppo, Adams, Lianco, Long, Armstrong, Elanusi, and the goalkeeper Forster. I'll come back to that in a second, because Chelsea in the meantime are breaking out here with Chilwell. His ball from the left-hand side gets towards the edge there, and no one in a Chelsea shirt there, and Romeu now to Livramento. He finds Walcott, who is brought down by Chilwell according to the referee. And it's going to be a free kick to Southampton. But you mentioned that they're bringing on potentially somebody like Che Adams. They've got Stuart Armstrong, who can certainly spice up the attacking midfield. Askin Elanusi. They also have Shane Long as well. So there are options there, but I suppose it's just a case of when he wants to make that change, will that perhaps throw the rhythm of his team out a little bit?
Yeah, very possibly, although I wouldn't really say they're in much of a rhythm at the moment. Southampton, they're not really... A load of their passes is not finding the intended target. They're either going out of play or just being quite easily picked off by Chelsea. And Chelsea just seem to be the first of every second ball at the moment. Southampton really struggling with the intensity that they're being put under. So it may be a case that he needs to disrupt the rhythm and get some fresh legs on in order just to try and test this defence a little bit more. Because at the moment it's very remedial for Chelsea.
It is just, as I say, not really being tested, but... would be nice to see just a little bit more structure as to how they're doing things. Got around 5.5 minutes to go in this first half. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea leading against Southampton by a goal to nil. Trevor Chalobah with the goal. Goalless between Burnley and Norwich. Leeds leading against Watford. Wolves leading against Newcastle. 8 shots from Chelsea, 4 on target. 4 from Southampton, 1 on target. So I suppose the ratio is exactly the same, but Chelsea with that lead as the ball is now down the right-hand side. Walcott finding Livramento under pressure there from Rudiger. Does well to dispossess Livramento. He's off towards the halfway line and he finds Hudson-Odoi, who's got space here. Hudson-Odoi all the way into the penalty area. Still Hudson-Odoi trying to shoot himself. Again, it's not the right option. See that far too often with players being just a little bit too greedy. And the ball is now back with goalkeeper McCarthy. But Southampton lose the ball quickly here. No free kick. It's Azpilicueta gets the ball into the 6-yard box. The initial effort is blocked. The second effort lifted into the box by Azpilicueta just goes over the head of Lukaku. Still have a chance here with Hudson-Odoi. His ball into the box, and it's a header from Werner. It's all too easy now for Chelsea all of a sudden. And Timo Werner, with that strike, does make it 2-0.
It does make it 2-0, and I completely agree with you. It is far too easy. Loads of balls being put into the area, not being dealt with by Southampton. Hudson-Odoi keeps the ball in play under no pressure from any man in red and white, is allowed to pick out his cross. And Werner, who is not a tall player at all, manages to out-jump Salisu and Kyle Walker-Peters and plant his header into the left-hand corner. I mean, the only player in that defence area that you can't really blame is Alex McCarthy. He's not being helped out by his defence whatsoever, and it's quite a simple finish there for the German. That's going to do wonders for his confidence in front of goal after having quite a difficult opening season for Chelsea. And 2-0 up, they may as well be 10-0 up, because I can't see at the moment Southampton getting back into this at the way they're playing.
It's going to be very tough, isn't it, for Southampton to get back into this based on what we've seen so far in this game. Newcastle, by the way, have got back into this as an own goal. That's given Newcastle an equaliser at Molineux. Here in our game, Martin Atkinson is waiting for play to stop. But why? This is the question. Possible foul in the build-up to the corner kick. Is that what we're... being told here as this ball was set up here by Hudson-Odoi, headed from Werner into the back of the net. But they're appealing they're certainly checking a foul here in favour of Southampton in the build-up to the goal.
The only thing I can think of is that it's Lukaku jumping on Livramento trying to win, unless it's Azpilicueta making that tackle on Kyle Walker-Peters quite some way before the goal's actually put in.
This is an interesting one, and Martin Atkinson is going to want to check this one himself.
This is quite a baffling decision to me. I didn't really see anything wrong in the build-up at all. We haven't really seen a great deal of concrete pictures from the tackle by Azpilicueta on Walker-Peters. We're seeing it there. I mean, the angle we're being given isn't great. We're getting a better one now. Maybe he does clip he does clip the heels, which is why Walker-Peters stumbles. So I have a feeling this might be overturned.
Well, it looks like it, although they're supposed to be a little bit more lenient. The referee disallows the goal. Will was absolutely right. There was just a little bit too much contact, and I must admit that's potentially the correct decision, but still a slightly surprising one.
Yeah, I think I would have to be in the same boat as you there. I mean, looking at the replays, we can't really have any complaints. It is the right decision.
The purple VAR screen did just confirm that it's fouled by Azpilicueta.
Yeah.
So that is what's caused the goal to be disallowed. Chelsea now with 2 disallowed goals in this first half. Although the offside wasn't controversial, Lukaku had gone offside. There potentially might be a yellow card here for somebody on that Chelsea bench. Is it Mr. Tuchel himself or one of his coaches? Just a little bit too much chatter. And the referee shows Tuchel a yellow card. Tuchel is doubling down here. gets a telling off and then thinks, well, he's not going to send me off straight away, so I might as well give him my 2 cents worth now.
Yeah, he's got to be careful though, Thomas Tuchel. He can get quite vocal when decisions don't go his way, and if more and more of those happen, he's going to have to go into
well, he's an apprentice of Jurgen Klopp.
Of course,
so
yeah.
He would have learned from his mentor there how to respond to situations. I have to say that it's one of those where now that VAR have checked it and it's a foul, we can see it, but I'm pretty sure that we've seen similar fouls in similar positions already this season, where goals haven't been disallowed for something similar. So it is a slight surprise. It's one of those where the referee didn't see it live. So I must say it's a good spot from the VAR officials to go back that far. But Southampton, is that going to work as a shot in the arm for them? We've got about 30 seconds. We are going to have a bit of injury time at the end of this first half. Just to run you through the scores, it's still Burnley 0, Norwich 0. Leeds is still a goal up against Watford. 1-1 now between the Wolves and Newcastle. Confirmation that the goal scorer was Jeff Hendrick. It was actually given as an own goal initially, but it's now been confirmed that Jeff Hendrick was the goal scorer and actually came off the bench 5 minutes earlier as well. He's had a very good half. And Brighton Arsenal still to come at 5:30 this evening. So we're into injury time now at Stamford Bridge. Just waiting for confirmation as to how much injury time there will be. But ball down the left-hand side, just gets through to Redmond. Teller leaves it for him. He carries on the overlap. Teller breaks into the box, so it needs to be a better pass. Stopped by Rudiger. The ball ends up back with Nathan Teller. He's looking for an option to get a cross in. His cross deflects off Rudiger, and then Kovacic gets his body in the way before Ward-Prowse gets there, and it's now cleared down the right-hand side. But those fine margins, that was a great counter for Southampton, and it needed to at least have a shot on goal at the end of it.
Yeah, it was the right decision by Nathan Redmond to set off Nathan Teller on that left-hand side. It's begging for a cut back to Adam Armstrong, who does so well to pull away from his marker. Instead, I think he's trying to hammer a ball over towards the far post where Theo Walcott's coming in. It's the wrong choice. It's easily turned away, I believe, by Trevor Chalobah in the end, and Chelsea do well to deal with it. But when they get that overload, when they get those counter-attacking opportunities, they've got to make better use of it, and at the moment they're partly being the architects of their own downfall at the moment, Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, it's to say that they've not had a glut of chances, but they've had half chances. They've had attacking possession which could have been used more efficiently than what it has been so far. 3 minutes of injury time confirmed. We've got about 90 seconds of that injury time still to play here at Stamford Bridge in this first half. So Kovacic now for Chelsea. His pass aimed at Lukaku, and that one gets straight through towards goalkeeper Alex McCarthy. He's now waiting to clear his lines here, McCarthy. Long ball down the right-hand side, goes over the head of Walcott, out for a Chelsea throw. And the Southampton bench this afternoon, as we said, they've got Perraud, Diallo, Gineppo, Adams, Lianco, Long, Armstrong, and Anusi, and Forster. As for Chelsea, it's a very strong bench. Barkley, Christensen, Marcus Alonso, Havertz, Ziyech, Jorginho, Saul Niguez, Mason Mount, and Kepa Arrizabalaga. So really a wealth of talent there for Thomas Tuchel. Should he need to make a change? Does he need to make a change at half-time?
I don't think he does at this moment. Yes, they're only a goal ahead, but they are still quite comfortable. I think the only time he'll need to make a change is if he sees a really big response from Southampton in the beginnings of the second half. I think at the moment his side are quite comfortable. There's not really many weak links across the field from the way they're being played. I mean, granted, let's make this clear. Chelsea aren't playing incredibly well. They're not playing Southampton at the park. It's just Southampton have been playing quite poorly this game.
They haven't capitalised on a little bit of possession, but that's a great run here from Loftus-Cheek to get the ball to the edge of the area. The pass to Lukaku is blocked, but it goes straight back to Loftus-Cheek, and he passes to Werner this time. Werner to Lukaku, back to Jorginho, and now the ball into the box. It's backheeled by Aspilicueta, but it's to no one in particular, and that should be the last action of this first half. Referee confirming now that it is the last action of this first half at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea lead Southampton by a 1-0 goal scored by Trevor Chalobah, and we will be back for second half commentary in 15 minutes.